the Gonzaga grad and Hall of Fame point guard for the Utah Jazz. Where are you right now, John?
I'm still in Spokane. Looking forward to an upcoming trip this weekend.
The last time you played a pickup game was when?
Sunday.
Okay, what are you like playing a pickup game?
Well, there's absolutely no basketball player still out there. It's just an old guy running around kind of barking at people to hustle and run and things like that. It's not quite the same as the old days, I'd say.
How important was playing every game to you? I think you did it 13 times in your career, something like that. You played all 82 games.
Pretty much everything. I mean, it's such a privilege. I mean, I never took one day for granted. That was, and there are people that go to watch everybody. I mean, even if you're a backup, or there's people that go to watch you and see. I think it's a really important thing to play every game and to battle through little injuries in order to do so a lot of times.
From the age of 37 to 40, you started 328 out of 328 games. How many times were you questionable with an injury during that period?
Well, who knows what standard you're talking about? I mean, I don't think I was ever questionable on any of those. I'm sure I sprained ankles and had little bruises and things like that. But for me, it was never questionable. And I think the trainers understood that, and the team understood that they could count on pretty much everybody on our squad at those times to be ready to play.
But do you think it'd be different now with you and Carl with the games you played and being smart with, Jerry Sloan would say, let's limit your minutes or let you sit out a game? I don't know how that would have gone over with you and Carl, but we see that a little bit more now. What do you make of that?
Well, Jerry did limit us. He limited us in practice, especially in the last couple of years of our careers. We didn't practice a whole heck of a lot, grudgingly. I mean, we like to practice. That's part of the fun, is going out there with the fellas, being part of the team. So even that we fought. But he limited my minutes a lot more than Carl's towards the end as well. I just think that they felt Carl's body would hold up better than my little body, and so they limited it. They wanted us at the end of the year. They wanted us for more seasons, and I get that. But I didn't enjoy it. I wanted to play every minute, just kind of like as if it were a rap ball game.
When did you know you could play at a high level?
Well, I guess it went in stages. I was sure the Jazz would want to cut me after my first year. I just thought that I'd hoped to fool them one more year, and maybe they'd give me another try. I guess probably when I signed my first contract after my rookie year was at 2.5, 3 years into it, and that I felt I was going to be there for a while. But I never really was comfortable with that. I've made it. It just never occurred to me. I always felt like I had to crawl and climb a little bit.
But then you become an all-star. Then all of a sudden, like, something had to change. Maybe confidence leveled. You're 25, 26, and all of a sudden people go, this guy in Utah is, putting up a double-double here with points and assists.
Yeah, I think somewhere in there you go, wow, that people. I am pretty good. I'm not half bad, but I sure remember going into every game thinking that guy that is across from me is better than I am, and I think that was maybe my approach, but I think it was an honest approach. It was how I felt.
How many scholarships did you have?
I had three Division I offers.
So Gonzaga,
University of Montana, and University of Idaho. Eastern Washington eventually became Division I, but at the time they weren't, and they offered me one as well.
What was it about Gonzaga?
I resisted Gonzaga pretty aggressively. I grew up basically on campus and snuck into their gym, 1,000 times since I was 6 years old. They used to drop me down over the chain doors because I could get in and I could sneak in and open a window somewhere for my older brother. But so I didn't really. It wasn't very appealing to me. It was you want to get away from that. And yet at the end of the day, when I went on recruiting trips, I wanted to be home, so I guess I'm a little bit of a homebody, a mama's boy.
Now, your dad retired. He doesn't own the bar anymore that they grew up with.
No, he doesn't own Jack and Dan's anymore, but he's but we still consider it home. My old buddy Jeff Condell, who I played with in college, owns it, along with Kevin McDonald, and it feels like home and it acts like home. It's still the place to be, I think.
When did you have your first beer?
At 21 years old in Jack and Dan's.
21?
Well, I might be fudging just a little bit there, but we are on national air radio.
Your kids might be listening. They'll use this against you. How tough is it when you're watching your alma mater? Because they've had cutaways of you in the stands, and it looks like you're more tense than you were when you played.
I probably am. It's a little bit easier. David was the last one to play for the boys there, and that was really nerve-wracking. Now it's a little bit less so, but I still care about these kids and certainly the program. And I guess I am a little uptight watching it from up there. There's nothing I can do to help. I guess there's fortunately nothing I can do to hurt them either, except for just stand out there and hope they do well.
Are you going to Arizona and then staying if they get to the championship game?
Yeah, we're going to stay either way.
Nice.
Either way, it's the national championship, and we'll be down there. So we're really looking forward to the weekend.
What's your favorite Michael Jordan story?
I think my favorite Michael Jordan story. We had it was one of the events we've done since. Maybe it was an Olympic team reunion or something being honored along those lines, and we're just sitting back in a green room talking, and I have half my family, if not my whole family, sitting back there, and just to watch him talk and exchange stories with my kids. He's a real person, and he took the time, and it was, it's as if it was an old college teammate of his. He's talking and sharing stuff, and I just, I think that's the neat part. It's always the stuff behind the scenes that I enjoy.
But did he mention that he finally admit that he pushed off on Russell?
We've argued about plays, not just that one, but plays throughout our careers that we obviously disagree on. But and then that's always part of the fun. You bet those things get mentioned.
Who talked more, Jordan or Bird?
You mean trash? Talk trash?
Yeah.
I wasn't around Larry as much. I sure saw it. Even as a rookie, I came in. He walked into the gym and said, "Coach, I think told our whole team, but to our coach, Coach, I think I'm going to have 42 tonight."
How many do you have?
He had 42 and then checked himself out of the game.
No way.
That's pretty impressionable for a young player.
So he walks into the Utah Jazz and just says to Coach Sloan, I think I'm going to put up 42?
It was actually Frank Layden at the time.
Oh, Frank Layden at the time. Oh, my God.
Yeah, and he did it. That's the kind of the amazing part.
Who would be your MVP this year?
Boy, I just never liked the MVP thought. It's always the guy with the biggest stats. I think if you do that, it'd be tough to argue against Westbrook or Harden. Just the stuff they put up. I think in the old days they kind of picked from the top team or the top two teams, and maybe that gets old. So I don't know. I try not to waste too much time thinking about it. It's pretty small. Pretty small for me, I think.
But also looking at the point guard now, is the point guard evolving? Because it's different than when you were playing or Jason Kidd was playing, in what you're asked to do. This is league-wide where I call them points guard because they're scoring points. It's not running an offense as much.
Yeah, and there were guys like that when I played, too. I said back then,
Hardaway.
Everybody, what's that?
Hardaway was like that?
Yeah, I'd say so. If I go back through my list and figure it out, but there's a lot of guys, Kevin Johnson, that could really score the ball and did, and looked to score first. But every team has different needs, and I think right now the pattern is the point guards are bringing it up, scoring a lot, balls in their hand a ton, but I always think it's evolving. It'll change next year because they won't be able to find another Westbrook.
But
Harden.
Would you be different now coming out of college in what your game would be like?
Oh, good question. With the type of influence that I've seen growing up, we didn't even play with a three-point line growing up.
Yeah.
So, heck yeah, I think it would be different. You come up and you see that the only guys they take are the ones that are taking 25, 30 shots a game. If that's who you want to be, you're going to figure out a way to take 25 or 30 shots a game.
The commissioner recently came out and said that sooner rather than later thinks there'll be a female head coach. I know Becky Hammon on the staff with the Spurs, Nancy Lieberman on the staff with the Kings. How do you think that would play out with players in the NBA?
Well, I think it'd be interesting. I kind of like to watch things like that to see how they do play out. It would certainly be different. Their experiences as women growing up playing women's basketball would be different than the guys. I don't think anybody could even argue that. And whether the guys would entertain that or not, I don't know. It'd be fun to watch.
How would you take that as a player if Pat Summitt was all of a sudden your coach?
Well, you picked Pat Summin. Yeah, I don't think you could go wrong with her. I mean, she's clearly proved herself, and she's quite a winner. I believe coaching's about relationships, and if you can communicate with guys, and if you can, I guess, give orders without feeling like you're barking at them and bossing them, I think anybody could succeed regardless of gender.
Do you have any of your short shorts left over?
Yeah, they're probably in a drawer. The kids try to fish them out every once in a while out of a bag in the basement or something, and they don't even fit them. It's kind of funny, but I don't know if you've noticed, short shorts are coming back.
Oh, I know, John. I would love for, maybe you could loan out a pair of your short shorts for my man cave here. It'd be kind of nice to put them on TV here.
Well, the last pair I had that was out, I think Shaq ruined. It was at the Olympics, and
No.
he, just to be funny, he tried to put on a pair, and he couldn't get it pulled up over one leg.
So you ripped him?
No, he didn't quite rip them. I had to wear them that day, so he was at least careful.
What's your favorite story from the Dream Team? Because it sounds like some guys had some fun. I don't know did you have fun?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we were. I don't want to say we were treated like kings, but it was kind of close. We had armed motorcycles escorting us everywhere. We had helicopters above, snipers on the hotels. Well, I guess my best story is in the hotel again, behind the scenes. My wife was out. She crawled through the window out onto this artificial deck that was all, between hotels, between buildings, to hang the kids' underwear and pajamas up that she had laundered and that she had washed herself in the sink one night. And while she was out there, a SWAT team rappelled down from the top and at gunpoint, held her at gunpoint, thinking she was a terrorist or something, and ended up just hanging some kids' underwear.
Wait, John, couldn't you send out for room service to have them do your laundry?
Who knows? We like to do things ourselves at our house, and she took it upon herself. So I don't know if that was available or not.
That's great. Hey, congrats on the success there with Gonzaga. Safe travels, and always great to talk to you, John. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Great talking to you.
All right, John Stockton, Hall of Famer, 10-time All-Star. Man, once those guys start telling stories, I don't even know if they know how many great stories they have. But all of a sudden, you got people, snipers rappelling down a building to hold her at gunpoint, think that she's a terrorist there. Oh, man. And he was always fascinating. Now, there's a guy who never, ever asked for attention, ever. He just played. And it was almost a San Antonio feel before San Antonio with him. Now, Carl liked publicity. He wanted you to interview him. John did not want to be interviewed at all. Couldn't care less. I'm here to play. That's it. No fanfare when I retire. I'm just going to go and play. And true to that, that's who he is.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.